Right, so yeah, we'll do that. Sorry. Yeah, I got all excited. I was like, yeah, we'll do that, Sam, and then you'll take your trip, and then when you come back and we'll feel refreshed, we'll start our holiday run through of that movie that we discussed because I wanted to be surprised.
Yes.
Cool.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Horror Show. I am your host, Samantha.
Yo.
And I am joined by the Stormy Skies.
Hi, listeners.
This is our mini show. I realized I wrote a brand new intro for our full episodes, but don't have one for the mini show. The mini shows are just where we are watching a show in our free time together and discuss that and then pick our next movie review.
Yeah.
Nothing super serious. Usually the show we're watching involves the Vampire Diaries, but we finished the originals and we need a break.
Yes. Yes, we do.
It's a lot.
It is.
But good news, when we're ready to return to the universe, the SAG-AFTRA strike has officially ended this week.
Yes.
Nice. So that's very exciting. We can talk about horror movies that we've seen in theaters, like Saw 10. Excellent, right?
Amazing. It
was so good. I cried.
Good.
I didn't think I'd get emotional in a Saw movie, but
I would cry too. I probably know exactly where you probably cried because it is really emotional to see John Kramer that much. And if you're a huge fan, it's just really it serves the fans so well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I already have this thing. I loved my grandpa so much. So I just have this thing about when movies in literature show old men in their 80s in very vulnerable positions. It makes me very emotional. The last book that made me sob was Every Morning the Sunset Gets Farther and Farther Away, something like that. It's a very long title. By Friedrich Bachmann, and it's from the perspective of an old man who has dementia.
Gosh.
I sobbed reading that book.
Sam. Yeah.
So seeing Tobin Bell like this when he's 80 and John Kramer is at the height of his illness and he's getting scammed, and we the viewers know it's a scam. They showed it in the trailers that it was going to be a scam, and just even if you didn't watch the trailer, you know it's a scam because he's still sick in Saw 2.
Yes.
Remembering where this movie takes place in the timeline.
Saw 2 then, right? Because it's after. Okay, cool.
This movie takes place weeks after the first Saw movie.
Nice. Good.
So seeing him in that position and just so relieved when the surgery was a quote unquote success.
Yeah.
And then the realization he has, because he's happy, he's not going to do Saw stuff anymore. He has no reason to. He's going to keep living a long, full life.
Yeah.
So he buys the bottle of tequila that one of the people gave to him while he was staying at this really nice house to get the surgery.
Yeah.
And he tracks down where they were because it was a top secret location, but he's an engineer and a very smart guy. So he figured it out.
Yeah.
He buys the tequila to take to her, and then the house is empty and he pieces it together, and then he saws them, and he did nothing wrong.
Oh my God, I love that. Can we please say that whenever we're ever going to talk about, whenever he has just say they saw it, saws them.
And they fucking deserved it.
Yeah, instead of saying put them in a game or a trap, we'll just say he saws them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, Gabriella didn't deserve it. She's very much supposed to represent Amanda prior, the Amanda before she became John's apprentice.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
And she's the one that beat her trap. She beat her trap. She won. John wanted to take her to the hospital because them's the rules.
Yeah.
But that bitch face crushed her neck.
Yeah, she did. That's so rude. And all of them got sawed though. So they all deserved it except for her. Yeah, and she did beat the trap, and that was a crazy, insane trap, dude.
But I loved it. Tobin Bell was excellent. And it felt like a goodbye to John Kramer in a way.
It did, yeah. But whenever after I saw this, I like to think about this a lot, but I think a lot about Tobin Bell and did he know that when Saw 1 happened that this was gonna happen and he would just be a superstar in our community?
I really don't think so, because
Yeah, because he's so old. Like maybe you might not think like you're gonna be
Yeah,
at the height of your career in your
he would
80s,
have been
man.
in, yeah, he would have been in his what,
Yeah.
late 50s, early 60s in the first Saw movie.
Let me do some math.
Because it was 20 years ago at this point, right? Over 20
Girl,
years
it
ago.
was. Holy hell.
So,
He's a good looking dude too.
so I don't think so, because as we recall, the original Saw was a very, very low budget
Yes.
movie that I don't think anyone expected the success that they had. And Tobin Bell, I believe, was literally hired to just lay on the floor for 2 weeks for the plot twist.
Yeah. But it's his voice. He made
Yeah.
it iconic.
Yeah, so I don't think any of them knew it would blow up to this extent that 20 years later we'd all be super pumped to see him fully return. Like, he's always never not been in a Saw movie,
Yeah.
but he's just there in spirit and flashback after 3.
So quick math, he was 62 when the first one was released in 2004, which is 19 years ago, and right now he's 81.
Yeah.
So
no, I
still
don't
younger,
think
yeah.
I don't think he expected that kind of success, and I
No.
don't think any of the people who went into the movie expected that.
Right, but listen, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that it's him, and I think that we all hold him very close to our hearts.
Because when we, in spoilers, we're gonna probably do a Saw retrospective after we get back from the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Because I don't think Tobin Bell was the name they were using to draw people to see Saw. It was Carrie Ewells, because Carrie
Yeah.
Ewells was
He's
the
a,
biggest name in that movie.
yeah, he's like he's a huge star as well.
Yeah.
Tons
And
of
he
stuff.
was leading into Saw. He was Wesley. He was the rival meteorologist in Twister.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the dude from Twister. The bad guy.
The one who was in it for the money, not the science.
Jonas. Not Jonas. Yeah, he's in it for the money, not the science. Yeah, he's the guy from The Princess Bride, and then whatever else he was in. But then the other movie I know him from, it would be this Saw.
Really? Not Robin Hood Men in Tights?
No, I haven't seen that. But is it good? He's in it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It makes fun of one of the most famous lines is
yeah,
unlike other Robin Hoods, I can do a British accent, because Men in Tights came out right after the Kevin Costner Robin Hood.
Oh, okay.
And Kevin Costner can't do a British accent.
But that Robin Hood was more serious though, right?
Yeah. Okay. Men in Tights is a Mel Brooks movie.
Ah, yes. Okay, cool.
So yeah, but we will not be tackling Saw until after probably December. Yeah, I think with Thanksgiving, December is going to be when we pick up recording again.
Yep, sounds about right.
So next week, we're going to be reviewing a movie I've been excited to watch. It's a Shudder exclusive, made its round in the indie circuits earlier this summer. The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster.
Ooh, yeah.
Cool. It's about a brilliant, prodigical. Don't make fun of me. I work in a church.
No, that's about right.
A teenage prodigy who believes death is a disease that can be cured, and her brother is brutally murdered. I'm assuming in police violence based on the trailers. And so she embarks on a journey to bring him back to life. It is a Frankenstein retelling. The cinematography in this movie looks absolutely breathtaking, and I'm excited to finally watch it. Since Shudder is cool and has user reviews on the movie, the horror community is being how it usually is when the movies star more than one Black person, which is fucking trash.
I know.
The comments, not this movie. But because it is a quote unquote woke horror movie, I'm sure great blue-blooded red, white, and blue American loving horror fanatics are not happy with it, is what I'm getting at.
This looks cool though.
Yes, I love a good Frankenstein retelling. And on that note, there's another Frankenstein retelling coming out sometime later this year, either December or January. I don't know if we have an exact date yet, but Poor Things, starring Emma Stone, which is
Yeah, is
a
that what
wacky.
that's about? Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's a Frankenstein retelling.
Huh.
It's a little wacky. It's a female Frankenstein, and
Okay. So she's Frankenstein, then Emma Stone. Is that why she looks so bizarre?
yes,
Okay,
and
cool.
it is in a. I think it's kind of an erotic type
Oh.
movie because, as men would do in this situation, um, well, she has the mind of a child, and as she grows up, she goes through the things we go through when we grow up, and the men around her take advantage of that. So
Ah.
it's good. It's going to be a fun movie. It's going to be a weird movie. Maybe we'll cover it. We'll
Mhm.
see if my
Oh
theater
yeah.
actually gets it. Sometimes my theater gets these great indie movies, and sometimes it doesn't. And it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
As
You've seen a lot of movies though so far, Sam, because you did that thing on your Instagram. I was
I
like,
did
damn, girl,
on my
nice.
personal Instagram, I rapid fired through a lot of movies I've seen in theaters since the strike started, which
Yeah.
isn't as much as I would like. I had kind of a drought in October, not intentionally, just Boulder's Gate came out and I ended up hooked on that. And
Yeah. Well, that's the gonna be the game of the year, probably.
it's not going to be game of the year. People who are saying that are delulu.
You don't think it's gonna be game of the year?
No,
What is it gonna
so
be then?
it's going to be Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Ugh.
Like, so like not even like implying that it's rigged. Zelda was the better game, and people are looking at Baldur's Gate 3 with rose tinted glasses. And I've had a blast playing it. I'm on my second playthrough. I'm
Yeah.
romancing the hot vampire. That romance was written for the Twilight girlies. You can't convince me otherwise.
Okay.
But it
But
is
yeah.
extremely broken in
Ah.
the later stages of the game and even the middle stages. It's been in beta since 2021,
Okay.
and there was really no reason for it to come out this year. And David and I talked about it, how we enjoy the game,
Oh,
but it is
yeah.
super broken, and neither one of us understand why this game gets a pass for being super broken and unfinished on release, whereas a game like Cyberpunk 2077 was
Oh.
ripped to shreds. It was
Yeah, it
fucking ripped
was.
to shreds. I won't say it's as bad, but there are
Okay.
parts until the recent patch, there were parts of Act 3 that were unplayable because the
Oh
game would just break. And
right.
from my understanding, you guys have a PS5. It's
Yeah.
unplayable on PS5 because it just wasn't ready for full launch. And I think it's fine that it wasn't
Yeah.
ready, but they could have waited until 2024 because I think they would have had a guaranteed game of the year if they waited till 2024. Coming out during a Zelda year is fucking stupid.
That's true because it will always win anyway.
I
Zelda
mean,
will win.
I'm sitting here delusional fighting for my life that Resident Evil 4 remake is going to win game of
Oh,
the year.
I wish too,
And
dude.
my reasons are valid despite what my friends tell me. They're like, they're not going to give it to a remake of a game that already exists, which they kind of are with Tears of the Kingdom. I know they added a lot of new content to Tears
Yeah.
of the Kingdom, but it's the same overworld map. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
damn straight it is. Yeah.
but no, Resident Evil 4, the original, is still heralded as one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
And I think the remake improved on every aspect of that original game.
Is everything about it
Yes.
incredible, and it still hung on to like the original whimsy.
Yes.
Okay.
And they released the Separate Ways DLC.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. It's actually a real game. It's longer than the Resident Evil 3 remake. And
Oh, sweet.
it's so good because the original Separate Ways, like unlockable DLC game from the original PS2 ported over to Steam and
Yeah.
other modern consoles, was
Yeah.
just an asset flip to make the PS2 release special. And you could
Yeah.
tell it wasn't good. The like story beats didn't match up well,
Mhm.
but the new Separate Ways is a true like B scenario to Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
It's
I've
it's just
seen
such
some of the playthrough. Yeah.
it's a beautiful game,
It is
and
beautiful.
if it doesn't win game of the year, which it won't, I admit it, I can accept that. I am
Yeah.
at peace with that.
Yeah.
I do think Nick Anastopoulos, or however you say his Greek last name,
Yeah.
um should get voice actor of the year.
And
the
that
game.
would be who
He voiced Leon. He's voiced Leon from Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil 4.
God. So that's him. It's still him.
Yeah, which
wow.
I have to double check this fact, but I'm pretty sure he's the first voice actor to carry Leon through 2 games. I know Matthew Mercer has been playing him in the movies, but for the games between 2 and 4, it was a different voice actor originally between the original 2 games, and Nick was able to continue the character development of Leon Kennedy through 2 games, and you can see that character development in these 2 games back to back. So I think he would deserve it, in my humble opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Either way, the game awards this year are going to be messy, and it's fine. It ultimately doesn't matter. The Game Awards exist because some guy had too much money and he decided to create the video game award. I mean, I'm 90% sure that's the story. I'd have to check with David, but I'm pretty sure that's the story of the Game Awards.
Well, thank you for letting me know about Baldur's Gate, because I was just hearing all this like amazing things, but no one was saying anything about it being like messed up. So like,
no, it's really fun. I don't know if you would like it because it's a Dungeons and Dragons based game, so all the mechanics are based around mechanics in Dungeons and Dragons.
I've played briefly an old Baldur's Gate, and then I play Diablo now, but I only play the like couch co-op, so I don't play single player.
Yeah, so it's a turn-based combat system. I haven't really enjoyed it when I've played it with a controller.
Yeah.
But mouse and keyboard, I really like it. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I don't think it should have been fully released this year. It still needed a lot of work. They've released 4 patches fixing issues with the game since August.
Oh my God.
But it's fun. It's fun.
Okay.
I would just, since you guys have a PS5, I would wait a little while if you plan on getting it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Thank you. Because I was like on the fence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Okay, well, cool. I'm glad we talked about that. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's probably gonna be Zelda. Annoying. Okay, well, great.
I love Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool.
No,
sorry that we talked about it. I was like, oh damn.
No, like I loved it. I haven't finished it yet because I watched David beat it, so I just haven't felt compelled to finish it.
Right.
But I love it. It's a really great game.
Yeah.
And I think like this has been a great year for video games in general.
Yeah.
And I do think it probably deserves Game of the Year.
Right.
But the arguments against Resident Evil 4 being a contender are stupid when Zelda used the same overworld map. They did add like the sky world and an underground world.
Yeah.
But
yeah, dude, I agree. I know. I hope that
same assets. They use the same assets.
It will win something, right? Like
it's gonna win Game of the Year. It's gonna win probably best score. The Zelda franchise is a juggernaut. Just admit it, accept it. If your favorite game comes out in a Zelda year, it's not going to win Game of the Year. Just accept it. And also, it's going to win Game of the Year because it's been the most anticipated game since it was announced in like 2019.
When are the awards?
I think December or January.
Okay, I gotcha. You probably okay.
Anyway, they're going to be spicy. Stay off Reddit that day.
Yeah.
Speaking of spicy.
Speaking of Reddit, you go first, but speaking of Reddit, I'll hold my thought.
Oh yeah, what did you do on Reddit?
On Reddit, and just to backtrack a little bit, because one, Sam, you and I should like do like a gaming podcast and just do scary games. But anyway, that's a side thought.
We have a Twitch.
I know.
It's just our schedules are so sporadic. I'm just using that excuse because your schedule's sporadic. Mine's really not.
Yeah, yours really not. But you're like, ooh,
I have a job
like attached.
I have a job that sucks my soul away. So when I get home, I don't want to sit in front of a computer anymore.
Right.
It's also really killed my writing career. So
but anyway, on Reddit. So regarding Saw, are you on the Saw subreddit at all?
I haven't. Dude, I'm scared.
Go on the Saw subreddit. Don't be scared because it's not like what you think. It's actually like really hilarious because the epitome of the Saw subreddit is just like thirst traps of like all the dudes in the Saw movies.
Excellent.
Constantly. And it's like my top 5, and it's like always like just all like the hottest dudes in any of the movies, but like everyone is obsessed with Mark Hoffman and stuff, because he's so huge. So yeah, I think you should definitely hop on there and just really let yourself get sucked in before we do our run through of all the movies.
All right. I'll get sucked in.
You're gonna have a good time. It's really funny and silly. But it's full of like super nerds. So every time, like every once in a while, there will be like a hidden gem of like a super like behind the scenes thing that you've never heard of before, you know? So
Ooh.
really cool stuff.
Excellent. I will check it out.
I think that's all I have to say about Reddit. I'm gonna talk about me watching anime these days. I made it to chapter 13. Yeah, I made it to chapter 13. And I'm at the point where I'm actually like eager to watch more because I want to see what happens next.
Yeah,
like I've got to that point that you have.
We're at the same point. I didn't watch any more in case you didn't watch any more. So we're at the same point, sweet. Episode 13, 14.
Yeah.
Which means you passed my favorite episode of the early episodes, which is I think episode 9, Doubt, after Chief Yagami's had a heart attack. He's in the hospital. A non-Kira heart attack, a work stress related heart attack. It happens while Elle and Light are on a little date, and Elle is inquisiting him, making sure he's not Kira, or just making sure he's up to the task of being on the Kira task force. He shows him images of 3 of his crime scenes in a fake image. And of course Light knows this is fake, and he's like, ah, shit, gotta mind bend my way out of this.
Right, yeah. But I'm finding that like Light, I like him more and more because he's like so smart and so strategic and so clever. And I'm like, damn.
And so after Chief Yagami's in the hospital, a news station, a TV station, goes live with a message from Kira. And Kira is going to start killing news broadcasters on other channels unless demands are met. And it's quickly discerned that this isn't the real Kira, but someone who has the powers of Kira, and they don't know how to stop the broadcast because they're watching the TV station. So anytime someone goes near the door, Kira is able to just kill them. But how can they do this when they don't know their names? Right. And Chief Yagami checks himself out of the hospital and drives a fucking bus through the TV station and pulls a gun on the producer and says, end the broadcast now.
Yeah, or I'll fucking kill you. Sort of.
And the episode ends with a shot of binoculars sitting on a table. So whoever the second Kira is has the eyes, and it is revealed, I think, at the very, very end of the episode that it's a girl who has the eyes, who worships Kira.
Yes, it's just like a little ditzy goth girl.
Yeah.
With blonde hair. How about that?
Little Misa Amani has entered the series for Stormy. She's a sweet little goth girl who's obsessed with Kira and now Light Yagami. It just made her day to find out he was also a high school student, a hot one at that.
Yes, super hot.
And she finds him, goes to his house, and pledges her loyalty to Kira. And since she has the eyes, she made the deal with her Shinigami to acquire his eyes. And the way Misa's acquired her Death Note is because another Shinigami, not Rem, was watching her, fell in love with her, and knew the day she was going to die because of the Shinigami eyes. And when that day approached, he interfered. He killed the guy who was going to kill her, so he died. And because of that, Rem acquired a second Death Note and took it down to her. And because of that, Misa also gained the remaining lifespan of that Shinigami. So
that's very interesting. All this lore is becoming pretty cool.
So even though her lifespan was cut in half by getting the Shinigami eyes, it doesn't really matter because she's probably going to live a long time anyway.
Oh, definitely.
So Light is like, hell yes, you are a great asset to this team. You're cute. You can be my girlfriend, which is what she really wanted.
Yeah, but I didn't get to that part. I got to the part where they were both at the end of the episode, they were both at the coffee shop, and then they were both sitting apart.
Okay, so you're not at the episode where she declares her love for him.
I'm sure that's coming, but yeah, I can't wait to see that, because I'm sure. Yeah, and like it's so funny because whenever he did get, like, I saw the episode where he like gets into college and stuff and studies for his entrance exams like a freaking psychopath, and then like of course gets the top score because he's like a freak.
Oh yeah. So you also saw the part where Elle reveals himself.
Yeah, yes. Well, of course. Yes, I've seen that part. And then Elle is just there and he's like all awkward, and like the one girl's like, "Oh, I like him." And they're like, "Why? You should like the other one." Like
which is so real, right?
It is. They're so different.
You put Zac Efron and Gerard Way next to each other. You fucking like Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Which
exactly, but they're both the same.
That is a more apropos comparison to Light if you're going to cast a white guy to play Light, because very early on when Zach was in his early 20s with the High School Musical teenage heartthrob thing, he was like a top contender or a top internet pick to play Light Yagami in an American remake.
Wow.
He had the quote unquote look, if you forget that they're supposed to be Japanese.
Right. Yes.
But good-ish news with the strike over. Once we finish with the series, we can watch the Netflix movie.
I would like to watch it just to see it, since I will have this background knowledge of like what it really should be.
And it stars Nat Wolff, who I don't know if you know him because you are technically like a year and a half older than me, so you may have been too old for what's it called? It's a show about brothers in a band on Nickelodeon.
I'm looking it up now. It's called The Naked Brothers Band.
The Naked Brothers Band. He was in the Naked Brothers Band. He was also in the John Green movie Paper Towns, and his brother Alex Wolff was in Hereditary. So anyway, he's the guy they cast for Light Yagami in the American Death Note.
Alex Wolff.
He's got a big mole on his face.
Oh, that guy. They both have moles in different places. You can tell they're siblings. By the way, Nat Wolff does not resemble Light. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I wish it would have been maybe like a Japanese person instead, but I'm just saying.
It should have been, but rumor has it, and I will confirm this in a couple months when we watch the movie, that they weren't even auditioning Japanese, let alone Asian actors for the lead roles of Light and Elle when they were doing the Netflix movie. Which is absolutely asinine. I'll say something controversial before we wrap up.
Cool.
For the American remake, I can get from where I stand as a liberal person, a leftist, if you will. I've become very left-leaning in my older years. I could see the choice to have Light be a white man because he has a lot of audacity. And
yes.
If we want to liken Light Yagami to a school shooter, which is a very American problem, they are predominantly white men. So if they had that kind of forethought into the decision, then I could see it being justifiable. What's not justifiable is the alleged closing the doors to Asian actors to take these roles. What doesn't make sense is, and this is not a slight against Lakeith Stanfield, he is an incredible actor. They cast a Black actor to play Elle, which I feel like was more of a response to, no, we're not just casting white people, we're blind casting. And Lakeith is the best actor in the Death Note American movie. However, in the movie, Elle is from Japan. His section of the story starts in Japan.
Legit.
He's Japanese. So it's very frustrating that they didn't cast any Japanese actors.
Yeah. Literally, like, I'm looking at all these people and they're except for this guy, they're all white people and a Black guy.
So we'll get more into that when we actually watch the movie. But it's like I said with our last movie review being Audition, and I brought up how it's never had an American remake despite the big trend in the early 2000s, remaking Japanese horror movies into American movies. Audition never had one except for technically the My Chemical Romance music video, and it was their second music video they ever did.
Yeah.
But they were still able to find at least an all Asian cast. I don't know if they were all Japanese, but they at least found an all Asian cast to fill the roles. So if this tiny little band from New Jersey that just put out their first CD at an indie label were able to culturally cast their music video correctly, what's the Netflix excuse? Like,
right.
But we will
that video, by the way.
It's very good.
Okay, good.
My favorite thing, and I am so sad, maybe I have it, I don't know, I haven't looked for my CDs in a while, is the original, like the very first I Brought You My Bullet CD. If you read the like copyright material on the CD itself, it says if you make an illegal copy, Gerard Way will come into your house
and drink your blood.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's how indie they were at the time of the music video. They could put weird shit like that on their CD.
It's so indie. Oh, girl, I remember that so good. I can't believe you brought that up. And it was like, oh, you and me, girl, on the same page.
Yeah.
I have to make mention of something.
Yes.
I just Googled Death Note, the movie. And in the cast list, it just says, and this is just the Google page, it says Nat Wolff is Light Yagami. But in the Wikipedia summary blurb, it says his name is Light Turner.
Yeah, so because they made him white, his last name is the blandest white last name you can get.
But it says Yagami here, and it's got the dude's picture, so they fucked it up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Just letting you guys know, you internet sleuths. There's a typo.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say, is if they put like forethought and they wanted to do like a school shooter message with Light Yagami for the American remake, I could get the thought behind doing a whitewash of him, but I don't think that justifies potentially shutting out Asian actors from these roles. And I love Lakeith Stanfield. He did a good job as L out of everyone in the American movie, and when you watch it, you'll understand what I'm saying. He understood the assignment. He understood who he was playing. Everybody else did not understand the assignment. He just should not have been L, especially because L's story starts in Japan.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's my rant. It was frustrating when I saw that the first time I watched it.
Is there now that I'm online though, is there like multiple Death Notes that like are Japanese movies?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me look over. I have them sitting in my excess DVD shelf over here. So Death Note. I borrowed them from my friend Larry in high school, and I still have them. So Larry, if for some reason you're listening, hit me up.
There they are, if you're looking.
they're right here. So Death Notes 1 and 2 are just the series, basically abridged versions of the series made for the cinema. So very condensed, very shortened. And then the third one, L Save the World, is a prequel movie about a case L worked before the events of Death Note, or during. Either way, it takes place before episode 25 of Death Note.
Okay, gotcha. How many episodes are there again? Did you say it was like 30 something?
There's 32 or 36.
Okay, I'm gonna get there soon.
Yeah. Once you get past like the first 10 episodes of exposition, it starts to fly by.
It does. And so here's my question. So for once it does fly by. So I'm sure I'm going to just like ballpark it. Probably by the new year we'll have like a new show. Have you thought about a new show?
I have not. Have you started Fall of the House of Usher yet?
No, but that could be it.
I also have not started it.
Ooh, okay. Then maybe that could be it. I mean, it is a horror show.
And it is very relevant right now, and hopefully will be come December too.
Dude, I just had an idea. And like, if we do Fall of the House of Usher, maybe unless there's something else that like we should try to tackle, maybe we should just like do the Flanagan Netflix shows.
Yeah, we could.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I was about to suggest with Fall of the House of Usher, since they're all, I think each episode is kind of loosely based on a Poe story.
That's what I've heard.
Should we read the Poe short story that correlates with the episode as well?
We could try to do that. I
know it's very loosely.
It's loosely. I could try to go from memory with the details, but yeah, why not?
Yeah,
they're short stories. That. You know what Edgar Allan Poe said about short stories? He said that they should be long enough. Well, they should be short enough to be read in one sitting, and long enough to have like a beginning, middle, and end. So
absolutely,
there you go. Short enough to be read in one sitting. So okay, Edgar. If it takes me more than one sitting, I'm gonna be pissed. But no, I think I've read almost all of them before.
You could have been a Poe scholar if you wanted to.
Yeah. I really still want to.
Anybody who
needs a Poe scholar, hit me up.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all I have this week.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Talk to you next week.
Yep, until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.